everybody. How are you doing on this fine Sunday evening? I'm Peter Brown, and so that means it's time. It's Sunday, so it means it's time for FMTV Weekly as I stumble over my words. It's been a long day, folks. Hope you guys had a great weekend, but you know, as always, I cannot do this show alone because he just won't let me. I've tried, but he won't let me. So please welcome in Uncle, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed.
You're not going to get rid of me that easily, Peter Brown. I'm telling you. I
got to have someone to yell at every week. So
Exactly. Peter, we've got a great show today. Thing is, we also know who's going to be in the MLS final, so we're going to be talking about that with our guest. We got a cool guest tonight. You guys probably haven't seen his face very much unless you're on social media. You're going to get to see his ugly mug today.
Yeah, so we're gonna give a little love to another podcast out there. So one of the things we've been trying to do during this off season is because there's not a whole lot to talk about, so we go find interesting people to talk to. Mm-hmm. So today is no different than we're going to talk to Jay Kington of the Inter Miami podcast,
connecting this Inter Miami community.
That's exactly. Yeah, it's not about competition here. It's about one big community of friends and everybody having fun together and supporting our team. Miami. So anyways, we're going to get into all that, and we'll welcome in Jay in just a minute. But we do have a little business to take care of first, and that is to say a big thank you to our sponsor, and that is Caneswear. So if you want to look as good as Uncle Ed, you need to go to Caneswear, and they're located in Davie, or you can go to caneswear.com. If you're in the Davie area, if you're coming up from the Miami to the stadium, whenever there's a game, hit up Caneswear. They have the best prices in town for all your Inter Miami gear. And you can wear the shirt that I'm wearing. They sell this as a Caneswear exclusive here. So go there. And again, we talked about it before. You could get that the shirt sponsor XBTO on anything. They've got the lettering for $10. They'll put it on an old jersey. If you got a jersey from last year, but you want this year's sponsor on, or if you bought a jersey before they announced the sponsorship, you could get it added for $10. You can't beat that. That's great.
If you guys want to look pretty like Peter Brown, do it.
Pretty.
Go to Caneswear. Go to Caneswear.
Right. All right, so let's
pretty. Oh.
Okay, pretty. All right. I didn't think about pretty.
Fighting words, huh?
So let's not waste any more time. Actually, Ed, before we do get to that, don't we normally say hello to all of our guests in the chat room?
Yes, Peter Brown. I was going to. I
forgot. I skipped the beat. I wanted to start talking to Jay. I mean, you're boring.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's go quick with B King was the first one on here. How you doing, B King? Of course, one of Peter Brown's favorite critics, Esteban Dido, is following us right now. The best photographer that Inter Miami has, or anybody has for that matter. Chris Arjun is with us. One world, one goal. I heard she left us a message.
Yep, she's got a voicemail that we'll listen to in a little bit.
On Twitter? Good. Our good friend from Atlanta, Anu Wiseman, is following us. How you doing, man? Yeah, we're going to talk about the MLS Cup. Jose Velasquez is he's usually the first one on here. This time he's not. How you doing, Jose? And we got Eric Thomas. He should be happy because New York City FC is in there. Even though he's supposed to be
What's
Inter Miami.
Yeah. Mr. New Jersey.
Carter is also following us. How you doing, Carter? And the good Judge Dredd the Law is with us. Judge Dredd. And I don't know if you see anybody else, Peter, but I think that's it for now.
That's it for now. And he's saying he needs to get the shirt, to get the sponsor put on his Palmas shirt. So, yeah, hit him up. I don't know if they're doing that through the mail, but you can contact them, or I can find out. But you can definitely, go to the store. Oh, we do have another guy that just
Gael Padra, how you doing, bud? Thanks for joining us.
All right. So yeah, as you jump in, say hello and jump in and talk about the topic tonight. The basic topic we've been hitting on every week, but with just different people, make it fun, make it interesting, and that's off-season things. But December in particular can be a busy month, and we'll get into why that is in just a second. So let's welcome in the guy, for one of the two guys from Inter Miami podcast, and that is Jay Kington. Jay, how you doing? Oh,
are we ready for the face reveal?
So here we go. Yep.
Whoa.
See, you're too young to get this, but that's like Kiss, back in the '80s when they came out on MTV and they were all like this, because you couldn't see their face, and then they slowly revealed. Same kind of thing.
There you go.
There you go. You're probably a little too young to know about Kiss.
I hope mine was equally as awesome. No, but my mom tells me about them.
You started already.
He just called me old, Ed. He just called me old.
You kind of are old, Peter Brown. You're kind of old.
I love the 80s, and I listen to what Ed shares on Facebook and social media. I do listen to it. A lot of the The Cure, yeah. No?
Yeah, but Ed listens.
Totally
listens to depressing, awful, want to hang yourself kind of music. I mean,
what? I like the Smiths, man. We were listening to the Smiths. We went to Tampa. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah,
we had a road trip to Tampa, and I was torturing Peter Brown because I was driving.
At least with the '80s music, it was feel good. It was all about drugs and girls, and it was all. It was a decade of decadence, as Motley Crue coined it.
Oh boy, there you go.
Anyways, that is one of the things we like to do on this show, Jay, and that's just talk about nonsense and maybe once in a while throw in some soccer, but go off on tangents here and there. So. Thanks so much for joining us. How's it going over there on Inter Miami Podcast? You guys are putting up a podcast, I think, once a week? And how's it going over there?
So right now, everything's been very relaxing. We have one more show to do just to cap off the second season, which is our award show. And then we typically, unlike you guys are savages and keep it going every single week, but we take about a month off.
Peter Brown savage.
My fiance loves this time. She loves the off season because she gets a little bit more
gets you
of
back
me on the weekends. Yeah.
Our wives love this time too.
It's a little different when you've been married. I'm coming up next week. Next week? No, in a week and a half. 20th anniversary. So after 20 years, they're okay with giving you some space. They're fine.
Well, congratulations on that. Yeah.
They're like, you know what? He's happy when he leaves his little office after that 1 hour. He's not grumpy. So let him have his fun. We'll go shopping. That's actually what my girls are doing right now. They're almost every Sunday night out spending the money. But
my girls are doing the same thing, so we're good.
Yeah. Get out of the house, keep it quiet, and all that good stuff. But yeah, you guys put on a fun show, and you've been doing it for a little while now. And I know a lot of our viewers are probably also listeners of your podcast as well. So it's always fun. With what you're doing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this week and get your opinion on some of this stuff. But I don't know if you realize or Ed, if you even realize how busy December really is. Now, you think it's not very busy, guys. We're not in the MLS Cup playoffs. We're not in the finals. But December, it starts. Well, it already started because they had to announce, the players that they were not going to renew their contracts, or they were, whatever. That was the date for that to be done is December 12th. But we already got that in. That's done. They already announced that, so no problem. But then, December 11th is MLS Cup Final. December 12th is a half-day transfer window. Half day. You got about 6 hours or something. I'm terrible at math. But
get that phone, just go crazy.
Just buzzing it up, and then the 13th free agency starts, and then there's the MLS draft, and then there's end of the year waivers. So let's get into some of that stuff and touch on some of that stuff. But I guess before we get into all that is Ed, you were talking about a little bit is the MLS Cup Final, because we now know who's going to be playing.
Yes, Peter, and it's we almost started talking with Jay about it. I told him, hold on, man, don't blurt it out just yet, because we got to save it for the show. Because Peter and I have this bad habit of talking, doing the show before the show, and sometimes we miss out on some cool stuff. So I stopped you right on time. What are your thoughts about we just saw Philadelphia, the Philadelphia versus New York City FC? What are your thoughts on what happened there?
Unfortunate. I feel bad for Philadelphia Union. I feel bad for all of their fans with all the COVID cases that were, happened and players that had to miss that game. Tough. NYCFC been on a hot streak. They really have. Tati Castellanos, who I think is basically the Cristiano Ronaldo of the MLS based off his prowess to score, his looks, and his swaggy hair. So I think they're going to be a formidable opponent. On the Western side, I was wanting to see Real Salt Lake get to the finals because I thought it'd be perfect with a team with no real owner, no real coach, play a final on a baseball field against NYCFC. But Portland, always a tricky team. You can never underestimate Portland. But they were even without like Sebastian Blanco, one of their best midfielders, and still put it together. So I think what we're going to see here is a decently scoring game. I mean, I think we're probably going to get 4 or 5 goals out of this, and it should be very, very entertaining.
Ed, here's my hot take. I don't care. I didn't watch any of the playoffs. I didn't watch today's game. I don't give a damn who they are. Inter Miami's not playing. I got other plans on Saturday. All right, what do you think, Ed?
Wow, man. Like Jay said, I feel bad for Philadelphia Union.
I'm surprised they got to play the game, actually.
Yeah, man. I don't know if they called up some people last minute. They did
3 players for the hardship rule.
What a heartbreak, man, for their fans to not be able to have their full team. They had a shot, man. They probably would have beaten New York City FC, but it didn't happen. So, tough break for them. We know that the Timbers are the other team. Jay, let's talk about that. We know who are going to be in the final. We've got the Timbers versus New York City FC. Who do you think is going to take it?
Timbers.
Peter. What do you think, Jay? Did he freeze up?
It looks like Jay might have froze there.
Oh man! So
he got mad at me making a farce out of this whole.
It could
MLS
be that, Peter. It could be
this whole MLS Cup thing. I guess making a farce of the whole thing. Let's go 2 cameras.
Yeah, Peter. You're just like yeah. Oh, there we go. He's coming back. He's back, folks. He's back.
He's back. Let me assign. All right.
Let's see if he was able to listen to my question.
There you go, Jay. You're back.
Jay, I asked you a question.
I don't know did I answer the question or was I cut off before? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you were cut off. So yeah, Ed was asking your thoughts on Portland, I guess, right, Ed?
No, on both teams.
Because I still was in my mind of I don't give a damn. But go ahead.
So NYCFC, they've been on a winning streak. I've been thinking that they were going to get to the final. Tati Castellanos obviously has been playing amazing this season. I think he is the Cristiano Ronaldo of the MLS based off his prowess to score, but also just his look and his swaggy hair. So they're going to be a very hard opponent to beat, especially up north in the cold weather. On the flip side, I really did want to see RSL win, a team with no real manager, no owner, play a final on a baseball field, but Portland can never underestimate them, always going to put up a fight. And I think we're going to get a decently high-scoring game. I think it's going to be probably a 2-2, maybe some out of time, or a 3-2 win. But if I had to predict it, I mean, I just don't think anyone's going to really stop NYCFC right now at home.
Oh, Peter, I know you don't give a damn, but could you give us an idea?
2 4th-place teams make it to the finals. How about that? That just tells you, it really doesn't matter.
Why are you such a downer, man?
That's not a downer. That's telling you the fact that you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs.
Yes, I will concur.
That's a good thing.
Anything can happen. Anything. Inter Miami could go up on decision day and beat the Supporters Shield champions, and guess what? That happened.
That would have been great, but it didn't hapen.
I mean, it would have been a lot better if New England got in there, but
yeah.
And who would have expected Colorado to finish first in the West? I didn't expect that.
Right,
I would, you expect Seattle to be out there, which they were in second, but you don't expect Colorado. They're perennial, middle of the table, bottom of the table team usually. And I would say, don't count against Portland. They're playing at home, right? So they're not playing on a baseball field. Well, they are kind of playing on a baseball field, but it's been converted to a soccer stadium. Like a permanent soccer stadium, not like New York does. But because, I mean, that's got a lot of history there. That is a baseball field.
Right.
It's Providence Park, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it's called now. I mean, yeah, but yeah. They changed the name a few times.
Kind of like we had Lockhart, or, Peter still calls it Lockhart, but it's, Drive Pink Stadium.
That's a decisive topic.
Hey, it's Lockhart.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
It's
unless you
Lockhart.
want to go with that.
I'm on board with you guys.
I mean,
I'm on board with you guys. I like the history.
You're still you're not from Florida originally. I forget where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Louisville, Kentucky.
Kentucky. All right. So I don't know if you ever seen a soccer game at the old Lockhart?
I have not.
So
I was intrigued once the original Ronaldo became on the board or part owner, but it didn't last. Yeah, hey, I've got a hand stitched authentic jersey of his that I traded a boat hand to Brazil for. I do love the original old school Ronaldo, but I wasn't able to get out there before everything folded.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it definitely has a lot of history down here. So yeah. And hey, look, anybody that wants to argue with me about it actually not being Lockhart, the pipes underneath the stadium say Lockhart. Watch our construction videos, folks. Watch our construction videos. I videoed all the pipes and all the piles of dirt the whole year that they were building it. And the big pipes all had written on there Lockhart that were inserted in the ground somewhere for something, because my construction knowledge is great. If anybody wants to get a good laugh, go back and watch some of those old construction videos, because for one, it's fun to see how far the stadium came, but also my lack of construction knowledge when I start describing things as like that pile of dirt over there.
Yeah, well, look, there's a brick right there.
That one fact might win someone trivia one night. So remember that.
If only I'm the one asking the trivia question, because nobody knows that, unless you watch the videos. Because, I mean, nobody paid attention to that stupid stuff. But when you're there every single weekend videoing, you got to, and things move a little slow there on a construction site sometimes. You kind of focus on things. But anyways.
Okay. Getting back on topic, Peter Brown.
Well, hang on. Wait. Chris Arjun is saying can never be called Lockhart anymore simply because of history. Might as well call Inter Miami CF Fort Lauderdale Strikers as well, going by that theory. Hey, I wouldn't be upset if they did that, but it's still Lockhart. I'm just told you it's in the ground. All right, fine, Ed. We'll move on.
Well, somebody else owns the name, Peter. Since you're talking about that, so they can't do that unless Inter Miami. Jorge Mas calls up. I think the owner of the Tampa Bay team is the owner of that name.
Yeah, it was Bill Edwards who owned the Tampa Bay Rowdies at the time, and the Strikers, borrowed money from him and never paid it back, so he got the rights. I'm assuming when the Tampa Bay Rays people bought the Rowdies, I'm assuming they get the rights to the Strikers, but I don't know that for a fact. It could still be with Bill Edwards. I don't know. That's interesting stuff.
Well, one of the things that we talked about is that we'd love for Fort Lauderdale CF to be called Strikers. So,
you know what would be cool though is you know how football teams and baseball teams will do a throwback night. Mm-hmm. Let's do a throwback night and throw on some Strikers kits.
That'd be kind of cool.
Put on those hoops for a throwback. Yeah. They won't. I mean, for that matter, if they're going to do something like that, they would go throwback Miami Fusion, because that's an actual MLS team.
I got jerseys for both teams, so I'm good.
We're covered.
Whatever they want to do, I'll be wearing them.
All right. Anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand, and that's
I think we were talking about MLS Final, right?
Oh, are we still? I thought we moved.
Yeah. On. Well, I didn't say who I thought was going to win, Peter.
Oh, okay. So, go ahead. Let me drink.
So I unfortunately I agree with you. I think the Timbers are going to take it. They're at home. They got their fans behind them. Probably one of the best supporters group in Major League Soccer. So they're gonna have their fans behind them. That dude that cuts the logs, what's his name?
Timber Joe.
There you go. And I'm thinking the Timbers might pull this one off. So it looks like we outnumbered you, Jay.
I'll take it. It's so hard to bet against either of these teams. So anything could happen.
It's a toss up, I think.
It's hard to bet against two fourth place teams.
There you go.
Yeah, my bracket got busted real fast.
Man.
You could at least say they're evenly matched. I mean, they both, let's see, New York had 51 points and Portland had 55. So a 4-point difference. That's it. So they're pretty evenly matched. So that's a good thing.
Well,
I'm going to be really intrigued to see Maxi Morales against hopefully Sebastian Blanco if he's back playing, because those two players I think are the heart of the midfield and the creation role on the team. So to see them go against each other, and they're both probably under 5'5", so it's going to be a fun, energetic match, I think.
Ed, Esteban Dito is calling you out, saying, wrong, Ed. New York City FC has been playing spoilers on the road, and Timbers are going to get complacent or are going to feel the pressure of playing at home. New York City will win it.
He's with you, Jay. Esteban Dito is with you. He totally supports.
Someone's got to break the tie.
In your face, Ed. In your face.
In my face. Well, hey, if it happens, it happens. And unfortunately, Peter, I really don't. I'm like with you.
Don't really care.
I really don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, either way.
Care. I'm more interested in. I'm more interested on the next day, December 12th, half day trade window. And we've been talking a little bit about this, and there's not a lot of players on Inter Miami's squad that I think another MLS team would want to trade for. There might be an LGP, somebody might want to trade for. But to me, and I've brought this up over and over, and I want to get your thoughts, Jay, is that if there's one player on our team that I think another club would want, and I'm not saying we'd give him up or anything like that, that's Lewis Morgan. Because he had a down year, right? And so there is another coach. There's a Bruce Arena type out there going, they don't use him right. I can make this kid into a star. I can make him into what we saw the first year. I could bring him back. And if somebody, unloads a whole bunch of general allocation money, a bunch of GAM on a club that is cash strapped for $2 million per year, they have to listen to that. What do you think, Jay?
I agree. I think Lewis would probably be the primary target I think any team would go after. I do also agree that there aren't many players on our team that other teams would want to trade for. I had a sense of relief for the Austin expansion draft. I was like, well, they're probably not going to want to get any Inter Miami players. We'll protect our 11, but outside of that, I don't know who else they would really want. But if outside of Lewis, I agree. He's not playing in his true position. And, that's just because we don't really have all the pieces we need. And Neville did change, the formation up and moving away from what we had going with Alonso. But outside of Lewis, I think there are a lot of eyes on Nico Futbol as well. I think there's a lot of chatter from South American teams that might want to swoop him up. With these sanctions coming up, I think that we have to find out a way. Yeah, exactly. But I think we have to somehow offload LGP.
Yeah, but
with almost $900,000, we could clear up a lot of the sanction problems that we're going to experience next year by getting rid of some of our higher paid players.
Well, Figal, being sold wouldn't necessarily factor into the trade window. I don't think. The way I understand MLS rules, we're talking trading within MLS. For the trade window, because they have more time to sell Figal. They don't have to. I would assume, but
I would like to keep Figal, but LGP, just of the price tag, I think we're going to have to get rid of him. But as far as trading between teams, I don't know outside of Lewis Morgan, Breck Shea. If we're not going to, it doesn't look like we're renewing his contract. I don't know what is there any trade that can happen if we don't renew that contract? So I don't know, but. Outside of that, I don't know who would go to any other team. No,
Breck Shea is out there floating around. Anybody else at this point could, I think, offer him up. We declined the option for him, so he's available.
I'm hoping we come around and decide to work something out with him, because that was the best $50,000 this club ever spent signing him to Fort Lauderdale CF and then bringing him up.
I agree, and I think I put him in the thumbnail, didn't I, Ed? Did I put him in the thumbnail?
Yeah. He's one of the guys that we hope,
and that's why
he can play anywhere on the left. He's definitely a player that's that we need to keep.
That's why I put him in the thumbnail, because I was like, that comes in really on the re-entry process. So that's when on December 17th, when they start having this is where MLS gets real complicated. But they've got stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 is starting on December 17th for the re-entry draft, and that's players like him, I imagine. I think, again, maybe you know the rules better than I do, Jay, but that's when players that weren't picked up by the clubs. Other clubs can get a chance to sign them, or we could renegotiate that contract. And I think we would have to, I think, wait till December 17th to find out if Breck Shea, but I want him back because they're going to have to give him a little bit more money, but still he's fairly cheap.
He deserves that money.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that is underpaid in the MLS, it would be Mr. Breck Shea.
And Phil Neville called him out saying he is the player that gives me the fewest amount of headaches. He tells him to play defense. Okay. Play midfield. Okay. Whatever you want, coach, I'll do it.
And he covers it well. He does it. Right. He's a guy we need to keep for sure. He'll cover any hole that we have on the left.
Yeah, and so all right, well, let's get to a voicemail that is about trade talks. This should be good.
Well, Peter, Ed, you guys are talking about, moves the team should make and everything. I'm thinking, now just hear me out here before you say anything about this, all right? Oh, by the way, this is Ted in Coconut Lake Hills, Broward-Dade County. What if we trade Ulloa? Just listen here. Just listen.
Hurry up, dude.
Trade him for Mbappe.
Jeez.
What do you think about that idea?
You hear his beatbox going on in the background there? Can you hear his
boy.
in the background there? He's got his little techno
studio break
studio thing going on in the background there. And the crowd goes wild. Ted Uncle.
That was it? That was his phone call?
He's gone. Yeah, he wants to trade a player that we do not own anymore to a player that is not in the league, so therefore is no trade. That is is not coming to this league. So yeah. And as one goal says, Ted, get off the drink.
Well, I was a little confused that
of course
Ulloa wasn't someone Neville wanted to keep on the squad.
Right.
Because he seemed to have an affinity for Ulloa and kind of that plug and play, I don't think as well equipped for the whole left side like Breck Shea was, but he can move between the back line and the midfield and CDMs and had some role in there. So I was surprised to see him go.
Yeah, but
right.
For what Ulloa does, I think he might be a little overpriced. He made $220,000 last year. So is he worth $220,000? That's in a year that we have $2 million extra floating around. Sure, but now when we have to go younger because we're cash strapped because of cheating. And for this awesome player that walks around the pitch and can't Matuidi.
I'd pay that much for Breck Shea, that's for sure. But Ulloa,
yeah, exactly. I'd throw that money at Breck Shea. Ulloa's fine, he's okay, but is he worth $220? I mean, you could put somebody younger in that position. I mean, I thought you could put someone like George Acosta in that position, but they didn't renew him either. That is the one I don't get because he is cheap. He was on their Fort Lauderdale squad. He's cheap. I don't understand why they let him go. I would hope he gets.
And I'm not the world's biggest Ulloa fan by any means, but it just seemed that Phil really had high regards for him, so he did confuse you. But we're going to see a lot of work has to be done on Chris Henderson's part, and we're going to see exactly what kind of mastermind he is. I think everyone has faith in him with his pedigree with Seattle, but man, I mean, we're going to see what feels like right now, probably a 70% new faces on this roster, if not more than that. I mean, it's going to be
great
a
with
lot.
Gregory. Gregory was spot on. So hopefully he can create and give us at least 5, 6, 7 more of those, and then we'll be a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we were talking to Alex last week, and she was mentioning that.
Not your Alex, no, Alex
Windley. Windley, no.
Yeah.
So
she does great work.
And she was saying it was Jean Mota, right? That she was saying is basically signed. They just haven't they haven't announced it, but it's like the worst kept secret that he's a done deal. So
Yeah, and it's like 500,000, I think,
Right.
is the
That's what she was saying,
fee
yeah.
for it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
and so
And
he's
the Vega guy hopefully
cheap.
comes soon as well.
right.
Oh, that would be incredible. But then we'd have to get rid of a DP. Hopefully, we can get rid of Pizarro, which it looks like Pizarro, they're shopping him around, and there's a lot of interest
Mhm.
for him. So
Talk is
if that could
Monterrey.
happen, yeah, Monterrey
Well, I will
seems to be
say
the.
there is this outlet. I'm not sure exactly what country they're from, but it is of some sort of, it's either Spain or somewhere in Latin America, but it's AS. And they were the first ones to report that Pizarro was coming to Inter Miami, or is at least linked. And they recently reported that. I think it was Chivas who was going to, but they're also saying potentially Monterrey as well. But I think that one of these three will not be here by the time the season kicks off. And unfortunately, it's probably not one of the three that we all want gone, but we'll see, how this is handled.
Yeah, and by saying that, which one do you want gone, Jay?
All of them.
I want the one that can't run much anymore, and that narrows it down to two. But
two.
I want the one who won a World Cup and then wasn't even on the roster for the next World Cup. I want that one.
Gotcha.
Without
I think we
saying
can
any
agree on
names.
that.
Yeah.
We can agree on that, right, Peter?
Well, we're talking Matuidi, this guy.
Yeah.
Right? He runs around the field. You ever watched him, Jay? You ever pay attention to how he moves on the field? He's like a giraffe. He moves around the field kind of like gangly and stuff. I don't know if it's because he has super long arms.
It's not fluid. Yeah.
No, it's weird. Like, a ball's coming to him. He doesn't just naturally move to the ball. It's like, let me move to the ball. It's like weird. I'm catching some
It's just
slack.
the inconsistency thing for me. I mean, he'll play horrible, turn the ball over 7 times, and then the following game he had like a passing percentage of something in the high 90s. It was insane. But
Yeah.
it's really hit or miss, and we need some consistency. And then after that 70th minute, you can see those older legs are really getting heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And did you see him the last game? He actually played decently, and he scored a goal. I mean, what the heck? He should have done that before, right?
You should have done that every game. Every single game, you should have done that.
I'm catching some flack here on the chat. Jay, on a Red Bull or a fun girly drink like Peter?
Oh boy!
Making fun of my beverage choice. Like, come on now.
To be fair, I have been drinking beer by the pool for the majority of the day, but I wanted to be professional because
Not here.
So I'm drinking. Now my fiance Chloe bought this, but it's Waterloo sparkling blueberry water.
I've had that.
Manly or girly? I'll let the audience decide.
Oh, they're gonna say girly. 100%.
Yeah, please put it on the chat, guys. Put it on the chat.
Let me get some vodka poured in there.
They're gonna say girly 100% because that's the stuff that I drink. I if I drink that during the day, I drink that stuff, or different brands, but that kind of stuff during the day. And then, instead of the beer, because I'm still trying to, keep off the weight, the organic seltzer peach pear. Come on now.
Whoa.
There we go. I mean, the older I get, the more I realize I need to implement drinking water in between my series of alcoholic beverages. That's just being a responsible adult. I could run through fifth after fifth of bourbon in my college days, and now it's slow it down. Hydrate.
And as you get older, it's just,
I don't really do that, but I don't drink the hard stuff. I just drink this girly stuff all day, so I don't really get drunk. So,
well, today I didn't have a beer, but I've got iced tea. So cheers.
It looks like beer. You could have gone with that.
Definitely
no, it's iced tea.
All right, so since
I should have said beer.
Since she called me out on my girly drink, let's listen to One World, One Goals call.
Hey, Peter and Uncle Ed, and welcome to the guest from, I think it's Inter Miami podcast. Completely forgot his name because that's what we do on this show. And just wanted to mention to you the latest stadium gossip is not about our stadium, but John Reese, who is an attorney worth $20 billion that lives in the Gables. I guess we all need to become friends with him. He's looking at opening a 50,000 seater stadium for University of Miami, a rectilinear stadium to replace the Orange Bowl. This is completely off topic, by the way. And it would be at where Coral Gables High School is. So it's pretty good access to, US1 and the Metro Rail and all that. And then they would move the high school over to where the golf course is behind the Biltmore and keep that still in the Gables. So that's like under a rumor of that's been going around and getting a lot of traction on social media. And that would be so bizarre because could the city be building two stadiums at the same time? Well, actually, Coral Gables is not City of Miami. But either way, to have two big stadiums being built when we haven't had any for so long, we do need to recreate the Orange Bowl. Just saying. Okay, love you guys. Love the show. I'm sitting tight on all the rumors of, who we're going to get and beyond the Ronaldo Messi grand rumors of, having them come when we open the stadium. We better get this going, though, because Ronaldo's already 37. Okay, love you guys. Love the show. Bye.
Before we talk about what she said, she continues with a chat. Is Jay Peter reincarnated? Poolside drinking, now girly. Damn.
Oh, boy.
Coming at you, Jay, now.
Damn.
Wow,
that
Jay.
hurts. That hurts me.
I mean,
I'm just trying to be a good father over here.
I know. God. And then Bruno, girly AF.
Oh boy.
And then
Did you say 20 million or was that billion with a B?
I think she said billion.
Yeah,
I gotta look at it.
I was at the attorney worth the attorney. Yes, I'm reading the transcript. Yes, the
should send a holiday
attorney.
card.
The attorney is
Work that friendship.
20 billion. Yes, exactly. But and another stadium in Miami. If Inter Miami can't get it built, let's let their stadium built. Let's go talk with that guy and partner up with them. One stadium. I can't imagine Miami go again. Well, I mean, Ed, you might know better. I mean, does Coral Gables? They could do their own thing, right? That's nothing to do with the city of Miami.
Right. They've got their own thing. I don't know if they're, at the high school. There's a lot of history with that high school, so I don't know if people are just going to let that go.
Right.
Have them constructed on top of that, unless, there's got to be something. I don't know. It's just got a lot of history, so it's going to be tough for them to actually make that happen. I think a lot of people who are alumni of that school are going to be like, no, dude, that's my school you're talking about. Why are you going to go do that? But it is a good location. I mean, it's walking distance from, they can make a train station right there, and people could walk over. It could happen, but I mean, there aren't 50,000, students in the University of Miami. So, I mean, there's a lot of alumni, but I don't know. We've got a stadium that you used to live pretty close to, Peter Brown, and half the time they don't fill that sucker up.
Right. Well, and I knew that when we got at the club, a lot of us were working really hard to bring this team to South Florida for many, many years, Jay. I mean, we were doing this, pounding the pavement for. I keep seeing pictures that pop up, as far as like me and Julio passing out flyers for Marcelo Clore when he was going to partner with Barcelona, and that was like 10 years ago or something like that. So, but, and we always were, I remember sitting there talking with you guys and thinking, oh yeah, we're going to fill the stadium. We're going to have we're going to be like Portland. We're going to be like Seattle. And I'm like, no. and again, like Ed says, I'm Debbie Downer. I'm like, no, we're not. I mean, this is still South Florida. It's still a tough sports market. We will be I think middle of the pack as far as stadium, capacity is about where we probably will live for most of our time. And that, with corporate sponsorships and it being Miami, or South Florida, you're open to so many great corporate sponsorships. They could still be a huge success with a half full stadium. It's different than the days of the Fusion.
Right. That's for sure. But what do you think about that, Jay? Another stadium, man. We want to have one at that golf course right by the airport. There's a lot of, it's real difficult. I don't know if this guy's worth $20 billion, but that's a lot of money, and maybe he could afford a stadium. What's your thought on another stadium in South Florida?
Maybe he can help us out. I'm telling you, this is a good friendship we should start. Okay. This would be beneficial for all parties involved. Another stadium, if they can build it, if they have the money and there is a desire there, then go ahead and build it. If you can fill it out, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe if you get a decent crowd in there, you can grow it over time. similar to Inter Miami, right? I mean, our stadium seems to get more full depending on how well we are in the tables or the significance of the game. Now, in 2 years when we have both, Messi and Ronaldo playing with us, with Luis Suarez as well, yeah, that stadium's going to get sold out every game, but I think it takes time to build it. We all have to remember, I mean, even though we are in, a Latin American, South American hub of the United States, the MLS is still, or soccer in general, is still the sixth most popular state. So it does take time to build up that fan base and build up the passion. But if they can afford it and it makes sense and they're okay with, building something new, if it has historical value, then, this whole city is built by construction.
Does University of Miami even come close to getting 50,000 people currently in Dolphin Stadium? I don't think so. I think it's pretty empty.
I don't think so either.
I think it's because they've been bad for a long time. So
yeah.
I mean, they're not.
Go Noles.
They're probably getting Inter Miami type crowds, maybe a little bit more, but not that much more.
Jorge, call up. What was the guy's name? I forgot. He's worth $20 billion.
Some guy.
Maybe they can do some agreement between them, and they can make a stadium together.
All right, our friend from Toronto.
I would like it.
Friend from Toronto wants to know: will Inter Miami buy out any player contract? Matuidi, please.
Matuidi.
What do you think, Jay? Do you think they'll buy out any contracts? They're allowed to buy out one.
Well, we did do Matty Pellegrini pretty dirty, but if I was going to pick, I mean, that would be my pick. Would be Blaise Matuidi. Get rid of it, open up another DP spot, or hey, we go the young DP route, throw three of them in there. Which I get that the big names, they're glorious, right? The Higuains, or you looked out the MLS, the Wayne Rooney's, David Villa's, Drogba. I mean, you can go on and on. But I think what I have realized is that we can have the bigger name, older Europeans who want to come here in the twilight of their career and retire, experience American life. It might bring fans initially, but I don't think it's going to get the results we need. This is a young, fast league, and I think that's where our focus should be. And I hope that's what this team is starting to realize.
We need to get another Giovinco like Toronto had, since we're talking about the Toronto guy. That guy was incredible. And Toronto got really lucky to get him at I think he was 27 when he came over, and they had him till he was like 30 something. So we need to go that route. Maybe with these Brazilian players that we're going after, they're still somewhat young. So hey, whatever it takes.
I mean, Giovinco was in his prime. It was I think wasn't David 27 when he came over to the MLS as well? I mean, these are the outliers, but most people that come here, they're, in their 34, 33, somewhere around there, and this is their final stop before maybe a year or two at the club they first played for when they were kids, like a River Plate or Boca Juniors or
right. Unless you're a Zlatan,
like that
guy's immortal or something. He's got a pact with the devil or something. Dude's a machine.
I mean, when you refer to yourself in the third person, you better be able to back that up, and he does it until he's like the Tom Brady of football, of soccer.
All right, well, Peter is going to go and play the next voicemail now.
Oh, we got another one.
Well, talking about myself in third person. If he could do it, why can't I?
Hey, good afternoon, actually, good evening, everybody. This is America's favorite uncle, Uncle Ned. And what do we always say, boys and girls? Fam, fam, fam. A joyous holiday season, damn. Damn.
Threw me off there.
Well, I see my man, Uncle Ted is called. Aunt Deb is probably on deck to calling. So your main man, Uncle Ned's got a call. So Uncle Ned was just down there for Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to see Peter Brown because he's too busy to hang out with people.
He didn't call.
But that's okay. That's okay. You're still my friend, Peter. And Uncle Ned, a.k.a. Darrell's favorite uncle. Love you, brother, and, hope to see you guys soon. So anyway, I want to give a shout-out to Jay Kington, man. And I do listen to your podcast, Jay, Inter Miami podcast. I just wish you guys would come out with more pods, man. I mean, the more, content that's out there about Inter Miami, the better, man. And, I'm here for it. And I do listen to you and, your boy, Papa George. And, I'm looking forward to hearing more content from you guys. Jay, what do you feel as though the direction that Inter Miami is going to go in the foreseeable future? I mean, we got a rough 2 years coming ahead of us. What would you do if you were Chris Henderson? You know, how would you upgrade this team? And, what kind of players would you try to go after? I'm hoping they go after more MLS players because as you see, especially, with some of the teams that were in the playoffs now, like, you don't necessarily have to go after the big shiny name. You can get MLS level players and, plug and play them, and many of them do pretty well. So, I think we have a spending problem at, Inter Miami. But anyway, I'll get off the phone and I'll listen to your response. And, once again, guys, I love you guys and, I look forward to talking to you guys soon, man. This is, Uncle Ned. Peace. I'm out.
What, no follow-up? It's we normally get, 2 very long, voicemails from him.
That guy can talk, man. And notice there's that little pattern. Uncle Ned, Uncle Ted. Now there's an Aunt Deb. What's up?
And you're still relegated to Doral, Ed, and you don't even live in Doral.
I don't live in Doral anymore.
Shots fired. Well, I do appreciate the love, Uncle Ned, and I'll definitely pass that along to Alex as well. My first thing I would just honestly just look at salaries straight up. I would see salaries. I would look how old they are, how productive they are. If there's someone that we have to have, I would keep them. If there's someone that I don't believe we need or that we can replace with someone cheaper or younger, then I would make that move. I would start in the midfield and I would start on the back line. I would go for the younger players. I would go for people who are coming up either in these, kind of faster South American leagues that are looking for their next chance, that are looking for maybe a better shot at life or wanting to come, bring their family and live in America, or go for younger MLS talent that has potential. I do think there's a learning curve here. You see it from anyone that's brought in, whether they do, whether they're young or whether they're like a Gonzalo Higuain, right? And they come in here and they don't realize the speed, how quick the defense will close in on you, and they've got to get a feel for everything. So it does take time. I would be looking to go for younger players who are less injury prone, who can go a full 90 minutes and build up from the back in the midfield. I think that our first season was very much a struggle going from our back third to the final third. We see the midfield get a little more cohesive and able to push north and south once Gregory came on board, but we need to continue to improve that. If we're going to have Lewis Morgan playing as a wingback, which I don't think any of us are really super excited about, we do want him in a winger position as he should be played. But then we also ran into a situation where there were some games where we had to invoke that hardship policy and bring up like Ame Mabika or Noah Allen. So we need to make sure that we have depth, but we can't just go out and buy the most expensive players, number one, because we're not going to get
sanctions.
What we need from them. Yeah, exactly. And number two, we've got to be able to say it's $1 million for each of the next 2 years.
$2 million
if
per
we
year.
Don't
it's a little bit.
$2 million.
Yeah, see, that's
$2 million for 2 years.
Yeah, that was one of the things that a lot of people didn't understand correctly. And I got to say, I was right, Ed. I mean, people said I was wrong, but according to the MLS themselves, I was right. It's actually a little bit over 2 million. It's like 2.2 or something like that.
Per year.
Per year. So yeah, it was a popular opinion that it was 2 million total, so $1 million over each year. But no, they had to buy this, by a certain date, lower the payroll, $2 million, and that happens for 2 consecutive years.
Well, that's going to hurt a lot more than I think I thought initially. But
that's why you can't keep Uoa. Someone like Uoa, 220, you can't keep him. You got to bring in. You were talking about defenders and going young. That's why bringing in Mabika, and he's going to come up and
Noah Allen
and Neville's kid Harvey's likely to attack to make the team. I mean, he's not defender, but defensive.
So I thought that was a little poor in taste, how they announced the 10 they were cutting and the 4 that they weren't sure if they were going to renew the contracts, but hey, we're going to bring up, the coach's son. I felt like that was not a good move. Now, he did play decently for Fort Lauderdale CF, so I can see that there is potential there, but I would have liked them to wait a little bit and announce it later, like, oh, we're just trying to fill out our roster. And, that nepotism, and people were questioning Neville shouldn't be here. He's only here because he's Beckham's boy. And I just thought that was a little weird how that was the first major move, was we're bringing Harvey up from Fort Lauderdale CF.
Imagine if they would have brought up Romeo too. Oh man, that would have been the talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first PR mess they've kind of put themselves in or whatever. So, But you mentioned Neville. What are your thoughts, Jay, on Neville's job in the first year? Were you one of the people that were in the fire Neville camp, or hey, he needs more time?
Well, I guess it depends on what game.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there was some improvements that were made. I'll start by saying I wasn't really too keen on the whole idea of firing Alonso after only one season, even though he wasn't really like our top 5 choices. But Neville, there were some struggles there. He's inheriting a team that he didn't really have too much say in, as far as acquiring players and what type of system he wants to run and who would be better in that system. There were definitely some shortcomings. I really liked he didn't have an issue making changes and substitutions earlier into the second half or at halftime, whereas with Alonso, we saw many of them weren't coming until like the 80th minute or later. So I'm not completely sold. I would like to see how it develops. I wanted to have the full off season with Henderson to try and formulate the best squad he can. Give him another year, if not 2 years, and then we'll see kind of how the chips fall. I certainly don't want to turn into like the Cleveland Browns, where we have a new manager every year and it's just a constant moving door. I think you need to be able to build it from the ground up, and it takes time to do that, even though in a market like Miami, we all want everything now.
I said from the beginning, this team has to come in strong from day one if they want to really sway the hard, the tough sports market, and they didn't do it. So they're doing it the tough way. They want to fill that stadium week in, week out. Miami it's not only is it a tough sports town, it's also a town that's knowledgeable about the sport, and so they're not going to put up with. I mean, you see so many people saying, "Screw it, I'm not getting season tickets again next year." So,
because they also raised the prices, man. What do you think about that? They raised the prices, and we didn't even make the playoffs.
I think they should have offered a 10% discount to anyone who was a season ticket holder. We were the ones that have kind of put up all this, and then especially, I mean, you guys understand. I mean, and we're in the same boat. You can have bad performances, and you can have episodes where you talk about the shortcomings of the teams, but you kind of gotta taper yourself and can't really go give your full honest opinion because you want to show respect to the team. But yeah, that doesn't really sit well with me. Some of the increases I saw just of like the chats we've been in, or even on the Facebook, like 30% price hikes, 40%, and guess what, guys? You haven't acquired Messi, or you haven't acquired Cristiano yet. Like, we're about to go through 2 years of darkness, and we will come there every game. We will be loud. We will sing. We will cheer. We will be unwavering as we have. But to make us pay more to do that seems a little backwards to me.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't surprise me. But I was grabbing this. At least we got this awesome little box. We got this box. Yep. You paid more, but you got this. I mean, that should make up for it.
Mine's in my trunk, and it's not opened yet.
I've got 3 of them, and I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, I've got enough.
I thought you were going to give one to your daughter.
My daughter actually asked me if she could have one to give to a friend, and I was like, nah. She's like, "What are you going to do with it?" I don't know.
My favorite part of it is just the box. Like, I like the box. I think that's the best thing. I can put stuff in it, put it in a drawer.
Mm-hmm. Put stuff in it. Yeah,
the rest of it already.
It's a nice.
It's a nice box.
It's a nice design there. Yeah. I can't get it in camera, but yeah,
I have to agree.
Yeah, it's always sitting here. People want
Jay,
me to.
Go ahead.
People want to ask me. Yeah. We're gonna wrap up here in just a minute. People want to Eric Thomas wants to know. Uncle Ned told me to ask you if you could ask our guest, Jay Kington, what does he feel about Tubby and the curse of Tubby? I assume you know who Tubby is.
Only because I'm from Kentucky, I know of Tubby Smith, but I hope
Phil
it's not
McDonough was named Tubby on the show, and everybody started calling him Tubby here on Futbol Miami TV.
Paul McDonough. Yeah.
Paul
We
McDonough.
called him McDonut. That's what.
Okay, that might be better. That might be better, but
similar.
But he was nice to us, Peter. Come on.
I loved. He was a great guy. He gave me a personal tour of the training facility before it was finished. He was super cool. And it's funny because whatever. He was just a nice guy, but that doesn't mean he was the right person. Oh, I just hit that by mistake. Doesn't mean he was the right person for the job. More Tubby comments are coming in. I put a filter for Tubby. Now they're all coming in.
Tubby McDonald. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And One World.
So Jay, what are your thoughts on Tubby?
The curse, apparently.
I felt like my girlfriend cheated on me or lied to me or something. Someone that I had faith in. He had a lot of success with Atlanta. Maybe not so much success with the Orlando, expansion, but Atlanta was a prime example of what an expansion team could do. I mean, and you look at Nashville, not the same, but still, these teams can come out and be competitive in their first years and especially their second year. So we had a lot of faith in him, and we thought that there would be a lot of good that he could do for this club, for this community. And then that news kind of broke, and I might be incorrect on this, but I think he departed a week or two before it broke, just kind of got out before it exploded. And then it hurt, because your damage is, there's a fallout from it. It's not just the explosion, but there's going to be 2 years of this radioactive debris lingering over Drive Pink / Lockhart Stadium. And disappointed, but all in all, it somehow got us Chris Henderson, and I think he's highly touted as one of the best in the business in this league. So kind of, I guess everything happens for a reason, but you left us out to dry, bud.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head here because the chat is very, very disrespectful to me. Like Peter Brown was Tubby's side piece and Jorge Mas was his wife.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah, at least Esteban's got my back, because he goes, now that's harsh, and you threw Peter under the train tracks. Very disrespectful chat room.
Wow.
I don't get it. We're here every week, and this is what we get.
No respect.
That's how it goes.
All right, so tell everybody how they can, catch your last show. You said you've got one coming up, and as the chat has said, they want to see more content. Uncle Ned was saying he wants to see more content, so you guys got to get on that. Say I'm sorry to your wife or fiance, and just get on it. And
let me get married first. Let me just legally lock her in first.
You got to put that in the prenup or something, man. By the way, I'm gonna, do my show.
You know what? When I met my wife, here's the thing. When I met my wife, we still had the fusion, and I told her, I said, okay, this is what you're marrying into. This is what I do. I wasn't doing these shows or anything like that, but I was like, I go to every game, and this is what you're buying into. Now, of course, they folded like 3 weeks before I got married. So for several years, she didn't have to deal with it. But then, we started supporting minor league soccer with Miami FC and the Strikers and all that kind of stuff. But so, yeah, Ed's right. It's got to be in the prenup. It's got to be in the verbal contract. It's got to be talked about ahead of time that, look, you know what you're getting. This is part of my life. The people want more content, and I've got to give it what the people want. Mm-hmm. So how can they find that content?
We will be pumping out more content. You can be assured we are going to get back into having players on to interview them as well. We are talking about, and I'll probably be reaching out to you guys throughout that process for advice about adding video in as an additional kind of media.
Peter.
That's okay. It's okay. Bring it on. Bring it on. It's all fun.
Nothing but love.
It's all fun.
Nothing but love.
I will
share like
That's
the
good.
first established like soccer group of fans or whatever down here that first reached out to us. We're like, hey, come swing through Fox and Hound. Come watch the MLS Cup of, what was that, 2019?
Something like
and,
that.
you guys were the first ones to really show us love. So it'll be nothing but love. But we will have our final show of season 2, which we're a little delayed on due to traveling and whatnot. But we'll be having our second annual award show.
Let me interrupt you for a second, because I'm a little worried, Peter Brown, because I mean, we didn't see their mugs before, but they're better looking than we are. So I'm afraid people are going to start going their way and leave us old fogies behind.
Well, that's youth right there.
It's the
you'll be fine. Alex is told numerous times a week that he is a face for radio, so I promise you we'll be okay. We might have to put him in a mask, but you can check us out really on any platform that you would subscribe to a podcast on. We're on all the major ones. Just Inter Miami Podcast. We weren't really too creative when we came up with the name of it. Social media, Facebook and Instagram at Inter Miami Podcast, and then Twitter is at Inter MIA Podcast. And that's basically all the ways. We're very responsive. It's all about the community, all about the club, and building this up into something truly beautiful, and then being engaged and seeing how big we can grow this community around this sport. And it's been such a fun ride so far. We really do truly enjoy it, even if it's, as you guys can probably attest, basically turns into a second job, but truly enjoyable, and appreciate all the listeners and love that we do get. And if you want to check it out, if you haven't, swing by for a little bit, see if you like it.
Yeah, no, you guys also have a website too. I don't think you mentioned that. InterMiamiPodcast.com.
Yeah,
so
we do have a website.
If you're not sure how to find them on the podcast or anything like that, there's links there. There's links to your social and all that kind of stuff. So just go to
and we put it on this video too. So
the link is actually is in the description.
Nice.
If you want to find us, we made it fairly easy.
Pretty easy to find, right? Exactly. So getting a little bit of love in the chat room. People liking it. Loved how informative Jay was today. There was a couple others too.
That's good, because I feel out of it.
He's better looking than Peter Brown.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe I'll cover my face up just to make him better again.
There you go. There you go. All right. So yeah, and anytime you want, if you need any information on the video stuff, let us know. We'll walk you down the path. I mean, it's it's no different than back when we were doing audio. If you remember, Ed, Chris Marazza, who was doing the Tailgate show, he was a friend of ours, and he called me up one day and he said, "Pete, I'm going to rip you off. How did I do it?" So I was like, so I told him how to do it, and because it was just all in fun. But so yeah, anything you need to know, anything we can help with as far as technology and stuff like that, hit me up.
Peter's a technology guy.
Ed doesn't know any of that stuff, so hit me up.
I just get the guests and do the social media.
Yeah, he's the man behind that.
Everyone's got to have their role.
Exactly.
I get it. I'm somehow a sound engineer and media editor now. I put it in my LinkedIn already.
All right, great job. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. It was a lot of fun tonight. And everybody make sure you go to check out Inter Miami Podcast, and also make sure everybody goes to Caneswear and you can get this shirt, Caneswear. So go there and support our sponsors, support a local business, and that's how you can support us. So, all right, thanks everybody. Thanks Jay.
Thank you guys.
Good luck on the podcast.
Have an excellent week.
All right.
You as well.